Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chesterton's Jest, where we shine an unflinching light on the joys, contradictions, and crises within today's Catholic Church and culture. If you're here for faith, wit, and a little righteous fire, you're in the right place. But before we dive into today's topic, a quick note, and this one's important. We've just added some outstanding new items to our shop. Gourmet, flavoured coffees that smell like sanity, hand-poured candles with scents like sacred space, and graphic tees and hoodies bold enough to make a modernist flinch. Every purchase directly supports the research, production, and fearless commentary you see here at Chesterton's Jest. So if you believe in what we're doing, don't just watch. Stand with us, light a candle, sip the roast, wear the fight, and of course, smash that like button. Share this video with your fellow troublemakers and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now then, shall we begin? Our topic, up for discussion today. Between shadow and light, the first days of Pope Leo XIV. Chapter 1. A papacy begins in tension. There are times in the Church when silence says more than speeches, and waiting speaks louder than declarations. The first days of Pope Leo XIV's pontificate fall into that rare category, where the mood is not triumph nor panic, but watchful patience. Those who had hoped for a sudden rupture from the Francis years have not received it. Those who had feared total continuity have not yet been vindicated either. What we see so far is a pontificate emerging, not yet defined, a papacy formed in the shadow of his predecessor but not yet absorbed by it. The question before us is not whether Pope Leo XIV is another Francis. It is whether he will remain his predecessor's echo or eventually become his own voice. Chapter 2. A shocking choice, but not without providence. His election then was deeply unexpected, not because he was unqualified, but because he was American. For centuries, an unwritten rule seemed to hang over the conclave. A superpower like the United States could offer cardinals, but never a pope. That taboo is now broken. Despite his close ties to Francis, Leo XIV's elevation stunned even seasoned Vatican watchers, who expected an Italian, a Latin American, or perhaps an African, anyone but a quiet American missionary with little global name recognition. And yet, providence is never absent, even when human expectations are upended. It may be, and indeed we can hope, that God has permitted Leo's ascent not to continue a legacy, but to purify it from within, to correct what went sideways, not by rebellion, but by quiet redirection. Chapter 3. First Words from the Loggia. In his first address from the Loggia of St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Leo XIV struck a tone of calm and unity. He spoke of the Church as a family, of healing wounds and of building bridges. These may not be the slogans that inspire traditionalists, but they were refreshingly free of ideological provocation. Notably, his speech was devoid of theological novelties or ambiguities. He did not dance on the edges of doctrine, nor did he press any of the political causes that weighed heavily on the last papacy. He simply greeted the faithful with restraint and sobriety. It may not have been bold, but it was mercifully clear, and clarity in these times is its own kind of courage. Chapter 4. Old Names and New Appointments. The same caution has marked many of Pope Leo XIV's early personnel decisions. He has so far retained several key figures from the Francis era, including Msgr Marco Melino and Msgr Renzo Pegoraro, figures closely associated with the synodal path and Francis's reform agenda remain at the table. At first, this seemed like cautious continuity, but now it looks more intentional. Most tellingly, Leo has appointed Msgr Renzo Pegoraro as head of the Pontifical Academy for life, a move that raises real concern. Pegoraro served directly under Archbishop Vincenzo Paglia, whose tenure at the Academy drew serious criticism for softening the Church's voice on abortion, contraception, and euthanasia. Under Paglia, the Academy welcomed members with pro-abortion positions and flirted with statements that blurred the Church's bioethical clarity. Pegoraro, far from distancing himself from that trajectory, appears ready to continue it. And Leo's decision to place him at the helm so early in his pontificate must be seen as an active choice, not bureaucratic inertia. This is not the move of a pope quietly discerning. This is the move of one setting a tone, and it is not a hopeful one. It complicates the idea that Leo is simply biding time. It suggests that at least in some key areas he intends to advance, not pause, the Francis program. The benefit of the doubt remains, but it narrows. Chapter 5. The Francis fog still lingers. The great unresolved question of this pontificate is whether Pope Leo XIV will confront the theological fog left behind by Francis. Documents such as Amoris Laetitia and Fiducia Supplicans created deep divisions and conflicting interpretations across the Church. National bishops' conferences now stand in contradiction to one another on matters as serious as Eucharistic access for the divorced and the blessing of same-sex unions. Francis never clarified the confusion. Leo has not yet addressed it. That silence has troubled some, but it may also be deliberate. It is not yet clear whether Leo will affirm these ambiguities, quietly let them linger, or gradually clarify without publicly repudiating his predecessor. If it is the third, it would explain his diplomatic silence thus far. But clarity must come eventually. A pope's silence cannot last forever without becoming complicity. Chapter 6. The liturgy awaits its shepherd. One area where many hoped for immediate change is the liturgy. The suppression of the traditional Latin Mass under Traditiones Custodes remains in effect. Many Catholics, especially younger families and clergy, had prayed for a quick restoration of liturgical freedom. So far, it has not come, but this too may be more delay than denial. Leo may be consulting with trusted voices, gauging episcopal pressure, or working behind the scenes. Still, each day that the Mass of the Ages remains under restriction is a day of unnecessary division. If Leo is truly a man of the council, he must eventually reconcile the Church with her liturgical inheritance. Vatican II never called for the extinction of tradition, only its purification and renewal. Chapter 7. What we know and what we don't. What can we assess in these early days? We can say with confidence that Pope Leo XIV has not broken from Francis in personnel or tone. His early speeches have been calm, even traditional in style, but his key appointments suggest he is making real decisions that lean toward continuity, not reform. His choice to place Msgr Renzo Pegoraro at the head of the Vatican's pro-life mission signals that he may be continuing the Francis line even in areas where clarity is most needed. That does not mean all hope is lost. The Church has seen popes shift course before, and God can raise prophets even from within palaces. But we are no longer in a moment of passive waiting. Leo is acting, and the faithful must watch, pray, and speak clearly in return. Chapter 8. Hope with eyes open. What we must avoid is premature judgment, whether canonizing or condemning a papacy still in its infancy. Chesterton once wrote that hope is the power of being cheerful in circumstances we know to be desperate. We are not in despair, but we are in tension. The Church aches for clarity, for courage, for a shepherd who will speak with the thunder of Peter, not the whisper of process. If Pope Leo XIV finds that voice, if he speaks not as an heir to Francis, but as a successor to Peter, then the very caution of these early days may prove to have been wisdom all along. We are watching, we are praying, and yes, we are still hoping, always hoping, not blindly, but faithfully. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video and share our passion for defending the true faith with a touch of humor, be sure to head over to chestertonsjest.com. Please support us by grabbing a bag of our gourmet-flavored coffee or take one of our beautifully scented candles and consider slipping into one of our fun and fervent graphic tees or hoodies designed to make you think and look good while doing it. Whether you're looking to wear your faith proudly or share a laugh, we've got something for everyone. Visit us today and join the movement, because in times like these, it's more important than ever to stand firm in our beliefs with style and wit. If you love what you hear, please don't forget to support the show by shopping at our store. Your purchase helps us keep this channel running and ensures more great content comes your way. As Chesterton once said, "A madman is not someone who has lost his reason. A madman is someone who has lost everything except his reason." So, let's keep our reason and our faith intact together. Thanks for listening. God bless you, and may the good Lord be praised.